He received his PhD in medical imaging and computer vision from Manipal Academy of Higher Education, which is called as MAHE, Manipal, in 2017. He was the gold medalist of the MTech VTU in 27 batch. He has two decades of teaching and research experience, and filed 2 patents to his credit and 40 research articles in various reputed journals, conferences, and book chapters. Additionally, published 2 technical books in Kannada language. Professor has research interest which is focused in 3D reconstruction of human body parts, and he is a deep researcher in augmented reality and virtual reality related to the healthcare domain. Further, to tell about Professor, distinguished reviewer for various international journals, including IEEE Transactions on Medical Imaging. And Sir holds research-funded project from DST, New Delhi, based on the scheme Fast Track Scheme for Young Scientists. He is the founder and managing director of the biomedical startup called Kumuda Health Tech, which was funded by Bharat DBT, Government of India. This work mainly focuses on 3D diagnostic tool development. And recently, Sir has received a grant from Department of ITBT, Government of Karnataka, for developing a virtual reality-based surgical simulation tool. He has executed 3 research projects under the startup company towards commercialization. In 2021, Professor has started Kumuda Ravi Charitable Trust, an NGO which works for organic farming. The great personality with us, very young and energetic for this session. We are happy to honor you, Dr. Sampath Kumar, sir. It's over to you, sir. Welcome. Namaskara, sir.
Namaste, madam. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I'll share the screen now. Give me 1 minute.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. I'll stop my video camera so that communication becomes easy.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Yes, sir. Video is fine, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. It's a 3D printing of human anatomical models I'm going to discuss today. Applied to this thing, brain-computer interface as well as artificial intelligence. I'm going to link 3D printing with the AI. And I'll start with the 3D printing and brain-computer interface. It's a very vast area, and I categorize the whole research into 6 broad categories. The first one is a 3D printable brain-computer interface. That is the interfaces that you are using for BCI, they are 3D printed. That is one area. The second area is a 3D food fabrication. It's also an interesting area where the food materials are 3D printed. Then this is related to the topic of today's whatever workshop you are conducting, deep learning and enhanced BCI technology for 3D printing. And I'm very glad to tell you that I'm a student of Dr. Ashok Rao, who gave a keynote and speaker today morning. He also discussed many things about the Internet of Things, AI, ML, and so on. And this is that area. And fourth area is 3D printed implants for brain computer interface. And briefly, I'm going to explain this. And the fifth area is nano 3D printing electrodes, where the electrodes used for BCI are 3D printed in a nanotechnology platform. And the last one is bionics, which is the topic for today. So, what is bionics? So, bionics or biologically inspired engineering is the application of biological methods and systems found in nature to study and design the engineering systems. Uh, Biologically inspired engineering, you look at the nature, how it behaves, how it is, technology is developed, and you engineer the systems. So there are three types. The first one is mimicking natural methods of manufacturing. For example, if you are mimicking the photosynthesis or you are mimicking the micro nano manufacturing, it is a mimicking of natural methods of manufacturing. That is the first type of bionics. And second type is imitating the mechanisms found in nature. That is, you are moving like a fish in submarine or prosthesis. You can see a arm here. This is a bionic arm. This is the topic for today. I'm going to explain in this talk. And the third one is the studying organizational principles. For example, the flocking behavior of birds. So it's aerodynamics that people use these techniques to understand the nature, and they implement this for aerodynamics technology. So these are the three ways bionics are used. And topic for today, as I said, it's a processes. There are four types of processes. One is vision processes, where the visually handicapped person, visually challenged person, can use these materials. Then hearing processes, where the hearing impaired person can use these processes to get back the hearing sensation. Orthopedics, that is the limbs, the hand as well as leg prosthesis. This is the topic for today. And a small group of implants that augment the cardiac and neurological functions. So basically, four types of processes are there, and I'm going to cover the orthopedics part. So bionic hand prosthesis, that is, if a person is amputated, that is, if he doesn't have one hand, but the other hand is working properly. I want to get a feedback. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So there is a one person, say his one hand is proper and the other hand is amputated. And there are two types of controls are possible. One is EMG control with the same hand. That is, the amputated hand still gets some signal from the brain, and that signal is used to turn the same hand, or you use the other hand and you change the other hand accordingly. The amputated hand will change its gesture. So this is the EMG control. The first one I'm going to discuss today.
Sir, you are on mute.
Hello, sir. Your voice is not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll just give a, we'll play a video. I'm most of the things I have made a video and I have kept it so that I know it's an afternoon session after a heavy meal. People start, yawning and sleeping. So I thought I better present show some videos so that people get an idea and the thing becomes very interesting. Please have a look at this video. So it's a bionic arm, prosthetic arm. So you fit this hand onto the amputated part of the thing, and you can turn your fingers. You can turn your palm. You can uh, unfold the fingers, fold the fingers. All these are possible. They're all controller controlled axis, and you can see the electrodes are placed on the other hand. Say one hand is proper and the other one is amputated, so you just close the fingers in one hand. So these are electrodes capturing the electromyogram EMG signals, and using these EMG signals, these are interpreted using a controller, and the controller sends a signal to control the other hand. That is one way. I'll show you a much more sophisticated one, which is using a controller. This is also the same controlling one hand with the other hand. These are all 3D printed one. As you can see in this video, these electromyograms are acquired through a controller. This contains a sensor as well as the controller. It will give the sensors EMG signals, and these EMG signals are interpreted, and it is possible to control the other hand. Let me give the algorithm how these things are achieved in real life. It's called myoelectric control of 3D printed prosthetic hand. Myoelectric control, that is the EMGs. So this is the block diagram where there is a user arm which is in proper condition. And there is a amputated hand where the prosthetic hand is fitted. And the signals that are acquired from this user arm, this is the EMG signal, electromyogram signal, and it is extracted using the EMG sensors, and it is classified. That is, it is classified whether I'm going to fold the finger or unfold the finger or pinch or move forward, backward. All these classifications are done, and this is using this AI, and there is an intelligent controller. So that's why it's a AI is coming into picture, and this will classify whatever the EMG signal acquired into the mechanisms, whether I have to fold the finger or unfold, move front, back, etc. So these informations are sent to the prosthetic hand, and the sensors present in the prosthetic hand will sense once again, and they give a negative feedback. That is a sensory feedback. And there are also the objects which are connected using the visual feedback. So using the visual feedback, you control the normal arm, and the prosthetic arm is controlled using a sensory feedback, and you have to take care of biomaterials and the biocompatibility before getting into the connection with the human hand, actual hand. And why this is not very simple, why it is complicated, because there are so many reasons. One of the reasons is this EMG is very difficult to acquire, and it is not random. That is one advantage. It is not random like EEG, but somehow whatever signal is acquired will be interpreted properly using an intelligent controller, and that is what is achieved. And the controlling is a very crucial thing you have to take care of. That is, the human hand consists of 27 bones, and it is not very simple structure. It contains 27 bones, and it is controlled by about 38 muscles. Okay, so there are 38 muscles controlling 27 bones, and the hand has got 22 degrees of freedom. Okay, so 22 ways in which it can operate, and it incorporates about 17,000 tactile units. Okay, so such a thing, it is very actually, if you are want to implement the same actual hand, it is impossible. So getting 17,000 tactile units incorporating is impossible, but around 40 to 50 tactile units are incorporated, and about 5 to 6 degrees of freedom for one finger. So into about 10 to 12, I can say, can be incorporated with the human hand. This is the first one, brain-computer interface I was talking about, with bionic hand or bionic arm. Is it this talk is recorded? Is it recorded? I hope everything is fine. Hello. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir, please. I'm one
Okay.
of the participants. We are getting you. Yeah.
Okay. 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 So this is about the first one, prosthetic arm using the EMG control. Let us move on to the second one, where voice-controlled hand prosthesis is achieved. So in voice-controlled hand prosthesis, there are two control modules instead of one. One is the BCI, that is Brain Computer Interface EEG headset. This one, and there is a voice recognition module. So two controllers modules are present. So what this BCI EEG headset does is the signals are measured and transmitted to a computer control unit wirelessly. Okay, so it's a wireless unit, and this data acquired from EEG. So you know that it's a 20-30 electrode system. There are a lot of 32 channels or 64 channels are there. Connecting everything into a controller is very difficult. So basically what they do is they connect wirelessly, and the data analyzer determines the state of the brain activity, and the artificial intelligence can be one of the components here to interpret and classify. And the voice recognition module is a Arduino compatible device, and it receives the configuration commands and responds through a serial port interface. And it's also AI can be used in this case also. And there are DSP processors or ARM based processors are available. Raspberry Pi also, newer version, they support ML. So you can write code and you can implement machine learning algorithms directly in these controllers, and you can get the processes done. And I have a video for this also. You can listen to the commands. Voice commands are given, and according to the voice commands, the hand movements, the finger movements are happening.
Jump. Rock.
Command is rock, so it is rocking.
Gnarly. Pinch.
Pinch, it's pinching.
Test. Peace. Point. Wave. Thumbs up. Pencil.
So it's holding the pencil.
Grab. Relax. Pinch. Neutral.
So this kind of voice controlled processes is very much useful in cases where both the hands are amputated. Okay, so hand processes, so you don't have to get the signal from somewhere. So you give the voice commands and it is possible to get the work done with the process. So this is a second type of prosthetic hand. In the third one, it is in a research under research. It's called robotic arm using facial expression. So using facial expressions, it is possible. That is by controlling a robotic arm using EEG signal generated by the facial expressions. So you connect all the electrodes here, and there is a signal acquisition through the 1020 electrode system. It is pre-processed and classified, and it is given to an application interface. It's a BCI. So this part is a BCI. The control signal goes to the application as a prosthetic hand, and it's a closed loop system. It's a negative feedback is given. So, and it's a visual or the movements of the facial expressions. So they have a interface also. So EEG signals are acquired using neuro signal acquisition headset, and artificial intelligence is used for enhancing the features. And this is the interface. So there is a headset setup. Using the headset setup, you set up all the electrodes for acquisition, and this is the expressive suit. In the expressive suit, all the expressions are acquired. That is either blinking or right wink, left wink, or raised brow, smile, or left smirk, or laugh. So all these facial expressions are detected, and it is given to either the affective suit or the cognitive suit. The affective suit, what it does, it reads the user's emotional state. It reads the emotional state, and the cognitive suit reads the conscious thoughts for movements and the activity. And this is the interface that they have developed, and it's in research stage, and people are getting benefit from that is, if the person is amputated and it can't give voice commands also, just by using the facial expressions, that is, a person is paralyzed. Okay, so if a person is completely paralyzed, only face is able to give the expressions. Okay, and it is possible to control his hand using the facial expressions. This is one of the interesting research I have come across under 3D printing and brain computer interface. Moving on to the fourth method, that is mind controlled RM processes. So it is from the Chalmers University of Technology, Sweden, and it is one of the world's most integrated interfaces between human and machine. World's most integrated interface. That is, you just think of something and it's happening. Okay, so it's a mind controlled. And the neuromuscular skeletal processes it's a sensation of touch, that is getting back. So that is also possible, getting a binary feedback. That is, you are touching something using a prosthetic hand, and that sense of touch, sensation of touch, is is given as a feedback, and it is controlling the mind is controlling the hand. So it is self-contained. All the electronics needed are contained within the processes. So patients do not need to carry additional equipment or batteries. This is the major advantage. It's lightweight and everything comes along with the prosthetic hand. And the electrodes are implanted in muscles and nerves. This is very interesting thing. That is, there is the implantation is coming into picture. You put the implants, which is biocompatible. The biocompatible implants are placed inside the muscle, and the nerves are making connections, and there is an interface that is happening. That is, there are three synapses. First synapse is from the brain, that is going to the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord it is going to the limbs, and the work is taking place. So now this synapses, or the information that is going from the brain to the spinal cord, if it is proper, then from the spinal cord to the limbs, that whatever nerve that goes, from there you can get the information, and you can add an interface through an implant. This is the one which is very popular, and people are doing a research in this area, and it sends signals in both directions. Sends signals in both directions between the processes and the brain, and just like a biological arm. And the signals are then interpreted by embedded control system, and AI can be a part of that in interpreting and classification. I had a video, but I just avoided because so many videos I am showing. It may not you may not appreciate. So the future is Open Bionics. Open Bionics is the augmented reality, and the open source software where the codes are sent, and you can print the biological leg or biological hand yourself. That is, it's customized, very much customized, and it is affordable. You just see this video, it explains everything about the artificial intelligence and use of augmented reality.
We want it to be the window to the future.
What we're trying to do is change the prosthetics industry so we can offer affordable, functional, and beautiful prosthetic devices to amputees.
I'm proud of being one-handed. It doesn't make me feel any different. But wearing this, instead of having people come up to me or give me like the sincere look of, oh, you've lost your arm, they go, oh, wow, this is fantastic. And I just like to see people have a smile on their face about it. That's what it's all about for me.
Because we're heavily promoting this kind of technology, some people really think like we were producing, augmented arms. And, some fans or some moms and so on were asking, where can I buy your arm? And unfortunately, we have to say, we're not building any arms. We're just a video game company. But that triggers, the thing where we say we should do something.
It was a really natural fit when they got in touch with us. We were almost expecting it at some point, and we formed this idea to try.
It's all these are customized. So whatever is your hand size or amputated hand size, you customize it and you print it for that particular size. So it is printed offline. It is not ready-made things.
And turn Adam Jensen's arm into a real-life bionic limb.
I was actually only born with my left hand, so I've never seen any different, and I've always wanted to have like a robotic hand. I've never said I wanted two hands, just a robotic one, just to feel more cyborg, because it's just so much cooler, especially being into sci-fi and comics and stuff.
I developed the first bionic hand when I was 17, just tinkering in my bedroom at my parents' house when I was younger. So when I went to university a few years later, I wanted to take the project a little bit further and found that bionic hands existed for amputees to wear, but they were extremely expensive. And so I used that angle as an excuse to be allowed to create a bionic hand for my final year project at university. And then after university was when I co-founded Open Bionics, and we began working on the same problem with a more kind of definitive goal of being able to offer these bionic hands to people at a really affordable price.
So this is a custom built one for myself. We use sensors in the top and bottom of my arm. So if I tense my bottom muscles, it will close.
So this is controlling with the same hand. These are controllers which get the signal from the brain, and whatever is in his mind, that is taking reality into the hands. All those controlling is possible.
And if I loosen up but tense upwards slightly, it will open.
We have a fantastic art director. His name is Jonathan Jack Beltet. This guy is a visionary. He's completely crazy. And the way we wanted to depict, a future world was that human augmentations couldn't be like just medical device. We wanted it to be super rewarding. People are wearing this kind of prosthesis in a fashionable way. For Deus Ex, we never wanted to do some gimmicky big robots hand and so on. We wanted something to touch upon, the high fashion, very refined design, something that looks very slick and very, you could be very proud to wear it.
And then you can change all the functions like that. Kind of cool.
At this point, we've made a semi-functional prototype. So we've made one that's functional and looks similar to Adam Jensen's hand. The next steps for us will be perfecting the functionality of it so that it works really nicely and it's very good at grasping objects, and then making the finish really nice so that it looks the part as well. The design files that we're working on in this project will be open source as well, so people will be able to download them. If they have a 3D printer, they'll be able to make themselves an Adam Jensen arm that will be functional and they'll be able to use it.
We don't want to cut this technology, this accessibility to people who have their both hands and so on. So we partnered with Intel with their RealSense division and Razer with their Stargazer division also.
Multiple points on the hand in motion is captured in real time. The result is a one-to-one mirroring.
So the motion outside is captured by the camera, and that whatever actions is taking place one is done, and it is real time that actions are transferred to the bionic hand. So this is what is the augmented reality. And I have shown you people 5 possibilities. One is EMG controlled, one is EEG controlled, another one is facial expressions controlled, mind controlled, and augmented reality. And this is the, I can say, 5 generations of bionics hands. And augmented reality is the one which is what is that, most research is taking place nowadays, and people interested can do some research. That is augmented reality is you be a part of the augmented world. Okay? In virtual reality, what happens? It's a virtual. There is no human intervention. Whereas in augmented reality, you're part of the system. You are being a part of the virtual reality, and you can make certain changes in the environment, and you can get the benefit done. So this is the augmented reality, and it's the future of bionics. So now let us move on to the same bionics limbs to 3D printed dye electrodes. So these are the electrodes which are used to capture the signal, EEG signal and EMG signals. And wet electrodes are very much uncomfortable, so use the dye electrodes. So these dye electrodes don't require the conductive gel, so that's why they are not sticky. So it's quick and inexpensive electrode manufacturing. This is customizable one, so you can customize it for various people. And there is a possibility of creating electrodes customized for each individual. So there are different electrodes, different places you can put them, and they are biocompatible, and they don't create any problem to for any interface related stuffs. And this is about the dry EEG electrodes. Now moving on further, bionic leg. So you combine the knowledge of mechanical engineering, the dynamics, and the electrical engineering, and you come up with a solution. And it's a very interesting topic. It is not very much similar. It is not similar, something like a hand where you get some information from one leg, one hand to the other hand. Here, the strength is also coming into picture. Because the whole body weight has to, the legs has to withstand. So there is a need for mechanical engineering knowledge also. And there are smart materials are used. So people, those who know material science, they'll come across the materials, smart materials, for example, piezoelectrics and stuffs. So these materials are used in these processes, and artificial skin interface is there between the leg and amputated part, and no mass production. It is customized for using 3D printing. So this is an example video which is showing the bionic
This is the
leg.
bionic leg that can read your mind. When Zach Vaughter wants to take a step, he thinks it, and it happens.
There's nothing special about it in the sense that of what I've had to learn. I just get up from a chair and walk.
Vaughter lost his leg in a motorcycling accident, but his brain is still sending commands to a leg that isn't there. This prosthetic has electrodes to read signals in his thigh, a computer to process them, and a mechanical leg to execute them. On this monitor is a readout of the signals Zach's leg is getting from his brain when he thinks about moving.
So knee out, my toes down, toes back up.
So whatever he thinks, that is happening in the lab. So he thinks, he move up, move the palm, so leg, all those things. When he is thinking, it is happening. So it's mind controlled, completely mind controlled processes.
And leg back in.
Over time, a team of doctors and designers led by Levi Hargrove taught the computer which signals mean what.
We could figure out using our pattern recognition if he was trying to move his ankle. So knee, ankle, doesn't matter. We learn the pattern and then tell the bionic leg how to move.
The result?
I'm going to extend my leg and put my toes down. With this leg, it's brings me right back to, basically, in terms of interacting with stairs, right back to not having an amputation.
To prove it, Vaughter climbed the stairs of one of the tallest buildings in America, the Willis Tower in Chicago. It is kind of noisy, and it's not flawless. Oops. But the designers say they are working on improvements, maybe even the ability to run. In 3 to 5 years, doctors hope to make these legs available to patients, including over 1,000 amputees from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
The wounded warriors, they've given so much, and anything we can do to help them do a little bit better or a lot better. That's what we're trying to do.
But for now, the bionic leg is still in the lab, in the test phase.
I would love to take it home sometime.
The U.S.
So it is in the lab, it is in the test phase, and it's a challenging work. So people who are from the mechanical engineering background can get into the electrical engineering stream and do a research, or from electrical engineering branches as you are, and you can get the same help from the mechanical engineering, and it's a interdisciplinary research that is taking place, and all these biomedical bionics things are interdisciplinary. And the area of rehabilitation engineering, it's called rehabilitation engineering. But no, we should take care of people who are get amputated because of their maybe in army or in the defense. So people get amputated, we have to give some solutions to such peoples. It's a rehabilitation engineering, and there is a lot of scope. There's a lot of scope in bionics. There is I thought your title, that is artificial intelligence for brain-computer interface, this exactly suits all these examples, and some of them such programs under rehabilitation engineering, especially in the spine area. And yeah, it has got a lot of scope, and you'll get satisfaction because your research is getting shape, and it is coming as a product. Okay, so I did my PhD in the area of same rehabilitation engineering, where we were developing 3D models using X-rays, and finally it came up as a product called Spinac, and it is there in the market now, and people will get satisfaction. So your work is not sitting in any shelves in a library. It is actually, you can see your work, PhD work is useful for some people who really need it. Okay, so in that way, you can think there are so many funding agencies nowadays. As Modi ji is telling, you have a lot of startups opportunities are through Startup India, or there are plenty of uh, places. No, people have given opportunities, funded and ready to market products. So if you have some idea, yeah, people are ready to pay the grants as a grant or as a investment. People are ready to invest on startups. So it's a very very age. It's very crucial time of era where people have so much of money and so much of encouragement is available for the people to come up as a biomedical product or a biomedical bionic product or whatever I was talking about. Moving further, uh, something about human computer interaction also, HCI also I have to tell, because it's a BCI topic, I know. But in HCI, there are some research where this 3D printing actually will take a lot of time. Say, for example, this one, it will take 120 minutes to uh, 2 hours to print. Whereas if you make it a mesh type of model, it's called low fidelity fabrication. If you make low fidelity fabrication, it is happening in 15 minutes. Okay. Whereas the same thing you can see here, the second technique, low fidelity technique, where you can increase the speed 1.5x or 3x or even 13x speed is achieved with the low fidelity processes. And coming to the augmented reality thing, so it allows the users to embed real world objects. So these real world objects, you can take it into the reality, virtual reality, and you can place it somewhere and you can get it printed down. So this is also another way of HCI, human computer interaction, that is possible. Now, moving further, what we do in Kumuda Health Tech. So we take a lot of projects related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. First one is this ICH outcome predictor. So HCM outcome predictor is a cloud-based interface where we have taken 1,000 cases of ICH. ICH stands for intracerebral hemorrhage. Intracerebral hemorrhage is happening inside the brain if there is a person comes across stroke. So if he is having stroke, or if there is a hemorrhage, because of the hemorrhage, stroke can happen, or because of stroke, the hemorrhage can happen. So it is both ways possible. Now, what we have developed is a predictor. It's an artificial intelligence algorithm, ML algorithm, where we kept it in the cloud, and it is developed using 1,000 cases, patient cases, and the information we have to feed to the this thing. It's about age, what is his blood pressure, what is his diastolic blood pressure, systolic blood pressure, what is his status whether he was had a stroke earlier, whether he has undergone surgery. So about 16 parameters has to be given as an input to this interface, and it will predict whether he is going to collapse after 2 years, or whether he can get cured within 6 months, or what is the status. So this kind of predictor we have developed in Kumuda Health Tech. It's a startup funded by Government of India. Now it is funded. It's not funded. We have our own startup. It came out of that in this thing. We completed that period. Now, the another project, it's artificial intelligence for finding out the epilepsy and stroke. That is a 8-channel EEG. So what earlier we thought is we take data from EEG, 8-channel EEG, and we do the segmentation, classification, the feature extraction, etc. Everything we do it, but we can't put our algorithm in their EEG device. So there was a challenge. So what we thought is we developed our own 8-channel EEG thing, and it is controlled by a controller, and the same controller we put our ML algorithm, which can do some kind of prediction about the epilepsy. There are so many diseases in it, neurological disorders. So those disorders can be predicted using this device. So this work is going on in Kumudha. And also, I was talking about 3D printing. So you give us a 3D CT scan of any human body part, we are ready to give you the 3D printed model. For example, this is the work we did in the beginning, earlier stage, where vertebra, lumbar vertebra, so the total human spine is divided into two segments, lumbar and cervical and thoracic. This lumbar vertebrae model is developed. I'll show the 3D model of lumbar vertebra, that is lower backside. So these are the vertebrae, 5 vertebrae, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, and these are the pedicles, the spinous processes, transverse processes, etc. So it is such a thing we can print it. The use of printing such models is for the surgery simulation. Surgery simulation. I'll show you one more. This is a full spine. There is a problem called scoliosis. Scoliosis is the thing where the spine get twisted. It will curved and twisted. Both the things are happening in a spine, and it happens in adolescent age, and you have to correct it. The correction. This problem is called scoliosis, and the surgery is called scoliotic surgery. That is, you have to make it straight. Now, the surgery is very complex surgery, because there are so many elements are there in the spine. This spinous process, transverse process, and so on, pedicle, etc. Now you have to make it straight, so you have to put some screws and you have to put a rod. Okay, and at what place you have to place the screw? If the screw touches the spine, not spine, spinal cord. The spinal cord is running inside this cavity. Okay, so there is a cavity here. So this is the cavity. So inside this, the spinal cord is moving, and if you are damaging that spinal cord, the normal functioning of the limbs, normal functioning of the any of the sensory organs get damaged. So you have to take care. So what is done is we give the 3D printed model to the doctor. The doctor will perform a surgery on the 3D printed model. So he'll perform the 3D printed model surgery, and this model is after simulation, the actual surgery is done, so that the minimal damage that can happen to the spinal cord. Okay, and this is a work of Kumudha Health Tech. We got funded for this project, and there is 3D printing of the skull. The entire skull is also 3D printed. I'll tell you the purpose of printing this whole entire skull. See, this is the skull of a person. The CT scan are converted into 3D model. 3D model is printed using a 3D printer. We have a 3D printer in our company, and there is something called mandible. So this is the lower jaw. So this is the lower jaw, and this is called TMJ, temporal mandibular joint, where it touches the cranium. And this is very crucial. If this is dislocated, then lower part of the jaw and the brain, the skull, get dislocated, and it's a crucial problem. So now, why we have to print all these things, we will understand. I'll show you a video. Later, I'll explain.
Corrective jaw surgery, or orthognathic surgery, is a group of procedures performed to correct dentofacial irregularities, most commonly manifested as misalignments of the jaws. These deformities not only cause malocclusion or bad bite, but also create problems in the temporomandibular joint, the TMJ, and the airway, resulting in difficulties chewing, swallowing, speaking, and breathing. While the surgery is performed to correct functional problems, patients' appearance may be dramatically improved as a result. Open bite is a condition where the upper and lower front teeth do not touch when the mouth is closed or at rest. An open bite can lead to a number of oral health conditions, including tooth wear, tooth breakage, and TMJ disorders. It may also cause speech problems known as lisping in some individuals. Open bite surgery involves removing some of the bone of the upper jaw to move it to a new position. Once the jaws are aligned, plates and screws are used to secure the bones in place. Protruding lower jaw is corrected in a procedure called mandibular setback surgery. The tooth-bearing portion of the lower jaw is separated from its base and moved backward for proper alignment. In a similar way, receding lower jaw, or weak chin, is corrected with mandibular advancement surgery. In this case, the tooth-bearing portion of the lower jaw is repositioned forward. Orthognathic surgeries are commonly performed in combination with orthodontic treatments and may take several years to complete.
So it's a corrective jaw surgery. What we print and give, that is used for surgery simulation. That is, the doctor will cut this mandible, 3D printed mandible in certain places, and he will correct it, and we have given them the complete skull. So using that skull and this mandible which is corrected, he can decide how many millimeters you have to cut this mandible, or you can advance this mandible how many millimeters. So this calculations he can do it on a cranium. Once he does it on a skull, he can do it on the actual patient. So this is what we do in Kumuda. We give them all these aid for surgery simulation. So this is also a part of 3D printing and interface. Let me explain in brief what is 3D printing. It's a manufacturing method when objects are made by fusing or depositing materials like plastic, metal, ceramics, powders, liquid, living cells, even the living cells. And additive manufacturing is the process, or rapid prototyping it is called, and it's a solid freeform technology. The need of the R is the tissue or the organ failure due to aging. So it is very much required in the tissue or organ failure where the critical medical problems are there. So current treatment for organ failure relies mostly on organ transplant, but there are limitations for organ transplantation. Living tissues are very much scary. People, there are so many things no match, otherwise it is not possible. There are very little donors are present, and so on. So there is a calculation that is by May 2020 there were approximately 125,000 people in US were awaiting for organ transplant. So it's a huge market. About $500 billion is where surgery and the follow-up is also expensive. So you have to take care of all these things, and there is a huge chance of this thing getting these things are implemented. So there are materials called polymerized lactic acid, or the acrylamide butadiene serine, or ABS it is popularly known as, or there are so many materials are there. Now what we do in Kumuda is CT scans give us the 2D images, and they are converted into 3D using these CATIA, SolidWorks, and Unigraphics Creo. They are all mechanical engineering people normally use. And Invasilis or 3D Slicer, Mimix, and ITK, VTK, or ITK Snap and ImageJ and Mesh Mixer. These are the software I've listed. Any one of them can be used to convert the 2D slices into 3D models. So how it is done? I have an example. There is a Voxelman database, or it's also called training simulators, that is used for ear simulation, endoscopy, and dental. People are using. So importing the own cases from CTRM. That is, with more than 200 segmented 3D anatomical objects are there. You just see here the 3D volume view of 3D CT segmented. It's a case study. It's from our labs. I'm showing you. It is inner organs, how it is from the CT scan, it is extracted. So you just vary the intensity levels. If you give more intensity, the bones are clearly shown. You can vary the intensity of the during the segmentation. Lesser the intense, more the graphical gray scales you can expect in such case situations. If you are using lesser intensity, you can see all the soft tissues also. So this is a 3D volume view, and ITK, that is Intel's Insight Toolkit. That is the visualization tool. ITK and VTK are the open source softwares. They are written in C++. They are open source, and you can write your own programs and you can develop the things. So I have a case study. The gray and white matter of a brain is segmented using semi-automatic segmentation. The algorithms are already written in ITK Snap. You have to call them. What is the intensity? What is the intensity of the gray matter? What is the gray white matter intensity, and so on. So their labels are assigned using a label editor. There is a Snake tool. Snake is the active contour modeling. So it's a famous active contour modeling segmentation technique where the active contours, the segmented 3D parts, that is threshold is applied to front of the region of interest and the bubbles are added. And once the organ is segmented, there is exported to surface mesh. So this is the ITK Snap. This is the top view, this is the side view, and this is the frontal view. So 3 views are there. And Snake tool or the active contour modeling is selected the region of interest for semi-automatic segmentation. And the thresholding is selected. So in the thresholding, that separates the foreground and the background. The foreground is white and background is blue. And one of the pre-segmentation techniques is used, and the bubbles are added in the region where to segment it, and the bubbles are the snake or the active contour model are driven by external image force, and the bubbles will grow and it will cover the certain region where it is belonging to the foreground or the background. So all these are bubbles that are grown, and it is separating. It is separating either these are the eyeballs, and here the gray matter. There is inside cerebrospinal fluid. There is a mandible, and there is a cortex and gray matter, etc. So you can give a command to give a 3D printed, and this is the one we have done it. So this is the 3D model of the brain. This is a model where you can walk through. That is, you can inside the brain, and you can see whether the tumors are present. Okay, if there is a tumor, it will give in a separate color. You can see. So mainly these are used for surgery simulations. The one of our projects is it's again a funded project. It is from Government of Karnataka, the Department of IT and BT. What we have done is we have given a virtual reality tool for surgery simulation. If there is a tumor inside the brain, that tumor you can visualize it. You can go inside the brain and you can visualize it. You can see its dimensions. So seeing the dimensions is possible. By looking at the dimension of the tumor, you can decide which part of the thing, which area you can from not from the nose or from the ear side or from the prefrontal lobes, where in which direction if you go, you can get easily access that tumor. How much you have to remove, all these things you can simulate it before going to the actual surgery. And this is a 3D model of a heart. Again, all the 4 chambers are shown in different colors, aorta and etc. These are all done by us using the CT scan. I want to familiarize you people with the great work from what is known as Visible Human Project. So Visible Human Project is where a cadaver is taken, both male and female. That cadaver's CT scan is taken from toe to head. From toe to head, MRI is taken, and the slices, it is sliced. The cadaver is sliced, and it is placed on a glass wave, and it is taken. Photograph is taken. So this is the photograph. This is MRI scan. This is the CT scan, and this is that cadaver, and I can show you the what is exactly present in the cadaver. So this is the cadaver. It's called Visible Human Project. You can see all the parts of the human body, and you can make it 3D model it. You can use it for surgery simulation, etc. Just see here, it is sliced like this from top to bottom. This is the all the organs that are sliced, and you can create a 3D model out of it. That is possible. This is the torso. The rib cage and the heart and the related stuffs. Brain part, eyeballs. So this is the CT scan. So you can see the skull. This is the soft tissue. This can be used for the research purpose, and also can be used for surgery simulation kind of thing. You can print any part of the human body with the any part of the human body with the specifications, and yeah, it is available online for free. And I want to introduce you people open source software called 3D Slicer. This is related to same lumbar vertebra segmentation. It has a beautiful graphical user interface where you can import CT scan images, or you can import the MRI images, slices. So it is, once it is imported, it will show this is the frontal view, this is the side view, and this is the top view. So whatever the view you are taking, you can enhance the features. So it has algorithms written directly to readily available to enhance the images. Then once you enhance the image, you can do the segmentation. So segmentation is done automatically with the either active contour modeling or something is done. So you done the segmentation. So given the size, so this is only the bones, it is segmented. So once you prepare the segmented model, you can create a 3D model. So that option is also there. And once the 3D model is ready, you can export it to any platform. You can export it to any platform. This is a lumbar vertebrae. This is the 3D image of that. It's an open source, and the behind this, in background, ITK, VTK, that is Insight Toolkit and Visualization Toolkits are running. It's an again open source platform. Now let me talk about customized 3D printing. There was a baby born premature, and after 8 months, the lung developed was having severe concerns. And after 6 weeks, the baby stopped breathing. It's all called blue baby. Okay, and it's also called tracheobronchomalacia, and it is windpipe is collapsed. So what is done is this person is the one who can call it as the person behind the customizable 3D printable. So he developed or he designed this windpipe. It is a purely customizable one, and he put onto the baby, and the baby started breathing. Okay, and this is where the customized 3D printed started. So the customized 3D printing, I can show it. Yeah, before that, yeah, and this is what the funded project what I was talking about. You take only X-rays, and these two X-rays are taken. One is frontal X-ray, and this is the lateral X-ray of the spine. So two X-rays are taken, and we have developed an algorithm which is kept in cloud, and that algorithm performs the 3D modeling, and you get a 3D model. And this 3D model can be used for the doctor to properly diagnose. So proper diagnosis is possible by the doctor, and if he wants to do any surgery on that, we preview that 3D model to the doctor, and doctor can perform the 3D printed. So this is called Spinac. This is the one which is now already we marketed it online available. We have successfully implemented in KMC, Kasturba Medical College, Manipal. So people are using it to get the 3D model just by giving two X-rays as an input. So now I have a lot of slides, but I don't know how much time I have. Can you tell me how much time I have? Excuse me. How much time I have? Excuse me. I think I'll take another 15 minutes. I'll go fast. There's no response from the side. There are 13 things we can print on a 3D printer in medicine right now. The first one is tissues with blood vessels. It's a great achievement. So researchers at Harvard University have making great progress in bioprinting blood vessels, a crucial step towards printing tissues. And lab of Dr. Jennifer Lewis is designed a custom-built 3D printer dissolving ink to create a swatch of tissue containing skin cells. So this is the one. So this is a tissue, and there is a blood vessels. They have printed it on the tissue, and when you make a contact with the blood vessels, the blood vessels sting up, and you can see there is a path created from here to here. It can conduct. The blood can conduct from one place to another place. So this is the tissue with the blood vessels. The second thing you can print out is a low-cost prosthetic part. This I have already discussed, prosthetic hand and prosthetic legs. And the third one is orthosis, that is helping the people which have having the problem in hand, palms, or in the spine. There is a problem. So orthosis, you can print it, customized one. Then you can customize assistive devices. That is, if a person is having problem in holding a spoon, okay, you can develop a assistive device. This is 3D printed, or this pencil is 3D printed, so that it can help in assisting the people. And customized implants. The customized implant, maybe this is for the spine, and this is the tooth implants, and there's a hip joint, hip replacement. People have used the electrodes. So these are the customized implant. And the fifth one is ear cartilage. So Carnell Lawrence used 3D photos of human ears to create ear molds. And these molds were then filled with gel containing bovine cartilage cells suspended in collagen. And this is the one. So people are able to develop a ear cartilage with the help of 3D printing. Then sixth one is the video I'll skip. Tailor-made sensors. That is, the researchers of Washington University have used scans of animal hearts to create printed models around which stretchable electrodes were wrapped, and the silicon devices can be peeled off and the printed model attached onto the human heart. And these are the sensors that are developed. An electronic sensor can detect oxygenation, heart strain, temperature, etc. It can measure. And the next step is to enhance the electrons with multiple sensors. So this is the one. This is the tailor-made sensors which are capable of sense all those oxygenation, temperature, which can be directly attached to the human heart. Multiple electrodes. Then medical models can be printed, and a group of researchers in China and US have printed models of cancerous tumors to aid discovery of new anti-cancer drugs and better understand how tumors develop, grow, and spread. So this is also possible with the help of 3D printing. Then bone printing. So Professor Shushmita Bose of Washington State University, they have modified a pro-metal 3D printer to bind chemicals to ceramic powder for creating intricate scaffolds that promote the growth of bone in any shape. And the implant is discovered by natural bone, and even load-bearing bone structures are possible with the 3D printing of bone. That is 8th one. The 9th one is heart wall. So Jonathan Butcher at Cornell University have printed a heart wall that can soon be tested in sheep. So this is the walls that can be put onto the human heart and that can work like a natural heart walls. And the dual syringe machine, this is called dual syringe machine. That is, one syringe is giving the hard material, another syringe gives the soft material. So there can be a combination to aggregate smooth muscle cells, and wall interstitial cells are possible to develop using 3D printing. There are a lot of research is going on medical equipment manufacturing using 3D printing. So due to ability to manufacture items that may be difficult or expensive to obtain by traditional means. Okay? The traditional means you can't manufacture in bulk. They are very much customized. Say a 3D printing of umbilical cord. Okay? So this can be done only for customized basis. So these things can be printed, medical equipment can be printed and can be used for medical in the medical field from 3D printing. Then cranium replacement. This is done in Manipal also. A team of Dutch surgeons at the University of Medical Center at Utrecht replaced the entire top portion of a 22-year-old man, woman's skull, with customized 3D printed implant like plastic, or a crushed skull was given a tailor-made 3D printed titanium. So titanium is fit. See, this is the one titanium that was replaced the bone, and this is biocompatible and it is custom made. So you take a 3D printer, you take first the CT scan of the skull, you find out which portion of the skull is needed, and after placing this titanium plate, you decide what are all the places you can put the screws, put the plates, and tighten it. So this is what is done in a cranium replacement. Then synthetic skin, it is made possible by James Yu at the Wake Forest School at Medicine at US. So uh, they tried to print the skin straight onto the wounds, and within the ability of the scan of the wound, the printer can fabricate the skin layers. It is from the basic layer, from the top layer to the skin, under the skin, the soft skin, then the blood vessels, everything you can stitch. And you can see that it is funded by US Army. Since US Army is the one which is facing a lot of injuries and these things for the civilians. So in order to treat them, these tailor-made 3D printers are used for treating wounded soldiers. So this is the one. This is the 3D printed. So now skin is directly on the wound. You are placing the skin and it is 3D printed directly on the wound. And finally, and this is a dream, that is organ printing. So the Organovo is the one that announced the commercial launch of bioprinted liver. It's a 3D printed liver they have developed, and it is worked more than 40 days. And the people are doing a lot of research to increase the lifespan of these organs. Why? Mainly because there is a lot of requirement. So hundreds of thousands of people are waiting for organ donor, and they imagine the technology would transform their lives. So what they are printing liver, heart, and the kidney mainly. This is the bioprinting example. I think this is the last video.
Welcome to another video. This emerging that is sprayed onto paper to produce text and 2D images, or to produce a 3D object. Bioprinters will output many types of cells, as well as a dissolvable gel to support and protect the cells during printing. Organs will then be built up in a great many layers. Over several hours, a complete replacement kidney, liver, heart, or other body part will thereby be created. Today, one of the pioneers of bioprinting is Organovo. Here, scientists have already bioprinted experimental human blood vessels and even animal cardiac tissue. Their NovaGen MMX bioprinter first prints out a layer of biopaper gel. Bioink spheroids each contain.
So it is layer by layer, all the elements, all the cells are developed until they develop a complete organ.
They therefore be able to scan wounds and spray on layers of cells to very rapidly.
So these layers, it will contain the biomolecules. They combine together and they form the actual cells, biological cells, and that can be printed directly onto the wound or any such structures. So let me conclude. the 3D printing has become a useful and potentially transformative tool in a number of different fields, including medicine. And as a printer, the performance and resolutions are available materials have increased, and also the applications. And the researchers continue to improve existing medical applications that use 3D technology and explore new ones. And artificial intelligence is going to play a significant role in future. And whatever tool that you develop is, if it has got a commercialization aspect in it, then you can, there's a lot of possibility that it get funded from the government funding agencies or the private funding agencies and so on. So if you are able to develop a prototype out of it, then if it is possible that it can be launched as a product, and you can, there are funds are available, they'll give you to start a new startup, and using that new startup you can build a material, you can build a product, and you can market it, and you can see your research is taking a shape, real shape, and it is used, making useful to the society. So with this, I'll stop my presentation. These are few references: US National Library of Medicine, and medical applications of 3D printing, and the organ transplant, HRSA. You can call me, or you can mail me, preferably mail me at this email ID. I'm the managing director of the startup Kumuda Health Tech Private Limited, and also associate professor in Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal. And this is my website, and you can mail me to get more details about any of these things. And I'm open to questions now. Please feel free to ask questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable and remarkable presentation, sir. Thank you very much. And participants are requested to raise the queries if there is. Any researchers working on this particular domain can utilize this opportunity. So
yeah, I haven't revealed any particular algorithm in AI, because those things are available in textbooks, and in 6 months of work you can implement any of the algorithm that is possible. So that's why I have not touched the basic algorithms of AI and so on. But being in computer interface, I have really touched, and there are most of the possibilities in developing tools and research areas. I have opened it for you people. You can work in any of these areas and get recognized by any of the good universities.
thank you very much, sir. Participants, anyone having research domain oriented queries or any queries related to future research gaps can effectively utilize this session. We will wait for another 1 minute. If there is any queries, please raise your hands. With the thing that everything seems satisfied, since there is no queries from in the chat box found. If you are having queries in, also you can type in the chat box. So we are working the we are also looking the chat box. If any questions are there, I will read out.
It
Okay,
looks everything is went over the head.
Satisfied. That is, two parts are there. One is extremely satisfied, keeping the mind that extremely satisfied, or that all participants are extremely satisfied in the mind. I thank Dr. Sambat Kumar sir for his valuable time and his kind concern towards this FDP program, and for his valuable and reasonable presentation, that which is more requirement in today's AI world. So think this is the future hope of printing the organs, and replacement of organs is nowadays going on trend. So it will be highly helpful for the ongoing research trends. Hope that few researchers will come up in this field in your due course. So I thank you once again, Dr. Sampath Kumar sir, for your valuable presence here, and thank you very much, sir, for your kind concern. Thank you very much. So with that, we conclude this session. So today's program has been ended successfully. We thank all the participants for your kind cooperation in conducting this FDP in a meaningful manner. So I thank you once again, and tomorrow we will meet in as per the schedule. Share in your group. In the same schedule, we will meet once again. New link will be shared. Microsoft Teams only here onwards. The platform will be Microsoft Teams only. So we are going to record the session and we will upload the same in the YouTube channels as of SR University. So with that, I am thanking you all, and tomorrow morning we will meet as per the session. Okay, with that. So thank you once again. Jai Hind.